What is up, everybody? This is Recap Rewind. I'm J-Lag.
And I'm NB.
And this episode is recapping and reviewing Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, Season 4, Episode 6, and it's called Chapter 34, The Return.
Don't forget, guys, stick around for the ending of the podcast because we're going to go through our best moments, our best lines, our MVPs, our LVPs of the episode. So be sure to stick around for that.
And as always, to our continuing listeners and our brand new ones, thank you for joining us. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Let's get into the episode.
Let's get into it. But right quick, let me just admit right now that I did not realize that Wardwell legitimately killed her son. So, and I get to like the end, almost the end of the episode watching it, and I'm texting J-Lag and I'm like, oh, like she's putting on this like ruse, like it's pretty good. Like, did she really kill her kid? And J-Lag's like, dude, she killed her fucking kid. Like, where were you? Like last episode. I'm like, legit. I thought she like put on a ruse to like trick him.
Yeah.
To think Adam was dead.
Right.
And now it all makes sense. Like, she actually did murder Adam. Like, that's so sad and so messed up.
It's so fucked up.
So,
but
yeah.
And it's funny that you say that because I mean, for one, like your comments at the end of last podcast, you were like, is she like laughing because she beat him? But I'm like, no, she killed him.
You're so like, no, she's crying. She lost her baby. But like, we didn't, like, you didn't say that. And I didn't say that. Like, we both didn't imply it. So we're like, I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then like, even in this episode when like Hilda comes up to her and she's like, are you okay? Like, how's baby Adam? Like, he's been so quiet. And she's like, yeah, like he's fine. I'm like, damn, she's keeping up this like charade. Like he's somewhere, like he's hiding somewhere.
Yeah,
he's dead.
No, he's dead. He's been murdered from time.
You guys can make fun of me all you want.
No, but to your defense, honestly, it wasn't very clear because they didn't show the body, obviously, because it's a dead baby.
I mean, they didn't show the body, and also because it's so hard to like play a prank or like play some sort of trickery against him, Lucifer. So I was just like, and I legit, guys, did not think she would have killed her own kid. Like, I just thought that was out of the books. Like, she would not have done that. And the fact that she did do it, I was actually like, holy shoot, like, she was just trying to
play the revenge card on him, right? Because like he killed Adam and then she killed the baby in the same way.
True.
So even though it was hers as well, she was just like, fuck this guy.
Anyways, let's get into the actual episode.
So this starts off with Sabrina looking in the mirror in her room. She's just like depressed and sad about it because she's worried about Sabrina. She's worried about Sabrina Morningstar, and she's just hoping that everything's okay with her. I guess Nick is having like sleepovers with her now because, you know, he's over there now and he's checking in and he's like, what's going on?
He's in her bed.
Yeah, she's just sad. She's just like, what is she feeling? Like, how is she doing? Is she alive? Like, I just worry about her. And so she's kind of just like feeling disconnected.
And I was very much impressed with like how Nick like dealt with this, because I was just like, oh, is he gonna be like a typical guy and be like, come back to bed, like let's fuck. Come back to bed, but like girl. He was totally like, no, he was like, don't worry, like you have to like move on and just like trust that like the universe has a plan. I was like, that is so freaking cute. I really like, he was really cute in that moment
and really hot in that moment too.
Yeah, because you know, he was in his undies.
In his undies. So then it cuts to the academy. And Ambrose tells Sabrina that the Cosmos is still coming, but don't tell anybody that the plan did not work.
So this is what I didn't understand, because last episode he was like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Right. And then now he's like, oh, they're still coming, but like they slowed down. They're like going 10 miles an hour now. We're okay. So like, how did it go from like the world's about to blow up? Like he fell over from the telescope to like now he's like, no, we're good. We're chill. Like it's slowed down.
Yeah. I really don't know what the urgency is, and maybe they'll explain it in the next couple episodes. Well, they have to because it's 2 more episodes left. But, they don't really explain why he's like, don't worry about it right now. But I don't know. It was very like, it was a very random thing to say that it didn't really quite work, but things are still a problem, but don't tell everybody. So anyway, cuts to Lilith, as MB mentioned, in her room with a fake ass baby, like nursing it in the by the fireplace. And this is when Hilda comes in to check in on her, and the baby's all covered up, so you don't really know that it's there. I was actually worried that Hilda was going to be like, can I see the baby really quickly? And obviously Lilith is like, yep, he's been really quiet since the Dark Lord's been around. But realistically, what she could have done and just said is like, oh yeah, like Lucifer took the baby, so I don't have the baby anymore.
Yeah, like, but then I guess like it would have sparked like a whole like other thing.
Another lie. And
or like so, they would have like went to Lucifer and been like, where's the baby? Like bring the baby back. Where's the baby? Yeah.
True. Yeah, then it would have been like rescue the child while the world is ending. So then it also cuts to Prudence and Agatha, and she does mention something about the time. I think it's a bit of a time skip because it's also winter this episode. I don't know if you noticed.
Oh,
but
I didn't notice that.
It's like snow is on the outside.
So since last episode, there's supposed to be like time in between.
Oh. Yeah. So from what I gauged from this, because Prudence is like, oh, months, she's like, you're still not well after all this time, after months pass, like you're still not okay to Agatha, because Agatha is like still crazy. She's eating her porridge, but like she like doesn't have her mind 100%. So we're supposed to, I guess, assume that there is some time that passed. So that, I mean, in a sense, that's good, because I always feel like with these shows, and especially with Sabrina, like everything happens in like one episode or like 1 month. And like the Eldritch Terrors are coming like every 5 seconds, but it seems that they gave a gap.
Yeah,
of time.
and that would make more sense as to what Ambrose was saying, how like they they slowed down. Okay, like that makes sense. So over a period of weeks, they've slowed down. Okay,
right.
Yeah, exactly. Not like overnight.
Thanks for the context. Didn't have to really like deal with all that.
Yeah.
So then it cuts to the Baxter High, and I was so excited to talk to you about this part of the episode because the Stone Philosophers come in while the Fright Club is playing.
Yeah.
They're a band, and the Stone Philosophers are some familiar faces. But one of them being somebody that Envy has a crush on.
Okay. So Brett. That was his name, Brett.
Yeah,
but
Brett,
he had
Donna,
a different name
Joan.
He had a different name in this episode.
Yeah, so they're just different characters. I think that trio is just playing different characters.
Oh, so he's actually not Brett.
No, he's not actually Brett, but it's funny that they did that with the three of them because they're called the Stone Philosophers, which makes me think that they're still from Stonewall.
But that's what I mean. I didn't understand that. It's like they're from Stonewall, fine, but like why aren't they the characters that they were in Riverdale? It's just another reason why I don't understand, if this is the same universe, why aren't we just calling him from his name that we saw in Riverdale?
Right. I mean, because I guess his character probably still has like a purpose in Riverdale, so he's not actually supposed to be leaving the show.
But then why use the same actor? Like choose a different actor. You know what I mean?
One of those Easter eggs. They love them Easter eggs,
I know, but it's an Easter egg that doesn't make sense because technically he should be Brett. And it would have. I actually wouldn't have minded. I would have been like, oh, like they just wanted to come here to like do the Battle of the Bands. Like that would have made more sense.
But then they get murdered later. So
true. But that's what I mean. It's like, why even use the same actors? Like I truly didn't understand it.
That's fair. Yeah.
I thought when I saw him, I'm like, oh my god, it's Brett, and then they called him something else, and I was like, oh wait, what? I was really confused.
It's not.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So it wasn't him, but it is Brett, Donna, and Joan from Riverdale, the three Stonies.
It was like they were on set, probably. Like they were there in Vancouver, and like they had no one else, and they were like, "Come, just like do this."
Yeah. Just come down next door and do the Sabrina set too. I will say that Brett in this world is totally hot.
Oh, he's like hotter.
Oh yeah, way hotter. Like I don't like him at all in Riverdale, but in this, I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
You cute.
See, I wasn't crazy.
Yeah, you weren't crazy. I'll give
potential.
it to you. I'll give it to you. Yeah, he definitely had potential. You just need to wear glasses.
Yeah.
That's all you need to do.
Yeah.
So they're arguing, and he says something along the lines of like, I'm gonna settle this score because like they booked the room and the other one didn't book the room. So it's like it was a weird beginning to a feud, but sure. Then it cuts to the library, and they're continuing the story, explaining it to Nick and Sabrina. And Nick and Sabrina are just like looking at each other, being like, the world is ending. I don't give a fuck about anything. It was kind of funny seeing them on the other side of the couch because I was like, they obviously don't care about this high school drama. So they're talking about being challenged to a battle of the bands with the Stone Philosophers. And then this librarian who we've never seen ever.
Never ever.
She never existed.
Yeah.
And she just like swoops into the side of the frame and she's like, oh, I hear you guys are talking about Battle of the Bands. I have this poster that I pulled up like just the other day, and it's an old poster and it says Satanic Panic versus the Fredheads. So another Easter egg that shows that Riverdale and Greendale have like a past with each other.
Right.
Because the Fredheads are obviously
was Fred's band.
Fred Andrews and so and so. So that was kind of cool.
That was cool.
And then the poster does come back later on. So then it cuts to home and she updates the aunties on what's going on in school, that the Fredheads or not the Fredheads, the Fright Club is going to be in the Battle of the Bands. She mentions that she's not a part of it with Nick because like that's their thing and she's like got her own thing going. So I should have known from that point in time that she was gonna like start her own band, but we saw it, that's for sure. So while they're talking in the living room, they hear this like rustling, scratching at the door, and when they answer it, it is Zelda's dog who has been dead. Yeah, Vinegar Tom. Yeah. So she's excited. She's like, "Oh my god, my dog is back! This is so exciting!" But Marie is like freaking out
again. Like it was Zelda being dumb as fuck. Like you literally like almost died because the universe like exploded, and now your dead dog is back, and you're like, "Oh my god, this is amazing!" Oh my god, my dog! And she doesn't say like, "Why? This is weird." Right. Hey, like, is this off? No, like she was totally normal. She was like loving her dog.
I don't care.
He's home. And then Mambo Marie was like, "Wait a minute, something is off. Like this doesn't make sense." Right.
So she's worried, and basically she realizes that the resurrected dead are now coming to Greendale. They're coming back to life, which is another Eldritch Terror. So we're to assume that this has to do with the Eldritch Terrors. The dead are coming back to life. And now
so at this point, like, is Blackwood triggering this, or is it just happening now on its own?
It's just happening on its own. I don't think he ever triggered it. I think he just knew that it was coming because he's the one that kind of started it. But I don't think that he knows. He's not calling them forward or anything.
Oh, okay.
But that's a good question because I'm just like, what incited this? Is this just because
maybe he did the first one?
The cosmoses are slowly coming together? Or?
Yeah, maybe he did the first one and that kind of was like a domino effect for the other ones.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. So she continues to say that people are going to be coming back from the dead and we'd have to like quote unquote defeat them in a way or like best them. But she also warns that when you see a dead person, they need to feel welcome. They need to be told. They can't be told that they've been dead because then they'll go crazy and then like havoc will ensue. So everybody's like, okay, cool. I won't tell anybody that they're dead, which almost all of them do. So that's another thing that happens later. But she says that she needs to go after what she calls the avatar of the dead to defeat him, which we later learn is Lazarus from the Bible, the guy that Jesus brings back to life. So she goes into the graveyard and she calls him forward and she's like, hello, old friend. So obviously they have some history. Yeah. We're not exactly sure like what the history is, but she decides to play a game called Sinette to see who wins. And then whoever wins basically gets to decide. We learn this a little bit later, which I'll talk about. Then it cuts to Harvey and he's playing the guitar. And while he's playing, the power kind of goes out. He switches his amp and then he finds a hidden guitar like at the bottom of a bunch of boxes, and he opens it up and he starts playing with it. And like as soon as he like plays one string, like air starts flying everywhere. He has like a Beyonce fan on him. Yeah. And he's like so excited because it's like, oh my God, this is brand new guitar, so lit. And as he's like practicing a few riffs, it cuts to a scene of the gates of hell opening and a trio from a rocker band come out of it. And on their shirts, it says Satanic Panic. So we know that they are the band, the evil band. But while he's playing, so it cuts back to Harvey and he's playing, his dad kind of interrupts him and he kind of loses it on him. He's like, what the hell are you doing? Where did you find this guitar? And he tells him like, go do better things with your life. Like this is not something that you should be doing anyway. Yeah. So he kind of loses it on him, which we learn later why that is. Then it cuts to Baxter High, and the Stonies are practicing, and Satanic Panic come in while they're playing. They kind of antagonize each other. Stony's like, "What are you gonna do? Kill us?" And Satanic Panic is like, "Yeah, we are." And then basically they just kill them. So they literally murder them.
Yeah, they were like,
Stonies
over our
like
dead
seconds.
bodies. And the guy's like, "Hold on, just wait for it. I'm gonna cut you up right now."
I'm gonna beat you.
It was
over
really
your
violent.
head.
Like, it got really pretty gruesome.
It was bloody.
Yeah.
So it even shows like the Brett character like trying to crawl out, and he gets like pulled back, and it was pretty gruesome. But yeah, they literally lasted 5 seconds, and that was it.
Yeah.
So then it cuts to Marie and Lazarus, and they're playing this game by rolling dice and trying to get these like pieces to the end of the board. And the deal is, if he wins and he gets all of his pieces off the board, then all of the dead people are going to stay alive.
Yeah.
And if she wins, they all go back to sleep.
So this is like
go to peace.
Truly her moment to shine. Like, this is the moment where like Mamba Marie has to like, you know, just come up and like do something and win and help the coven. This is her moment. So I'm rooting for her at this point. I'm rooting for her.
Same. I'm like, this is your moment. This is why you're here. This is why the show hired you.
Yeah.
Like, this is it.
Yeah.
So we're all excited.
And like the guy has like one eye, so like he can't even see the board properly. Like he's should
like
be
fully
winning
blind.
right now.
He's got like two coins on his eyeballs. Like he can't see shit. So you could literally cheat if you wanted to. So then it cuts to the academy, and Sabrina goes to see Zelda in her office, but instead of her she sees her Zaddy, just Daddy, not Zaddy. And she kind of freaks out because she's like, "Oh my God, my dad is here. He's alive." And Zelda tells her, like, she kind of pulls her away, and she's like, "You can't tell him anything about you. You can't tell him that you're his daughter because like he doesn't know anything. He doesn't remember anything."
It's like when people are in like night, like when they're night walking?
Night walking, yeah, basically. Like you're
she's
waking
like,
them up
you can't
from a
do
dream.
that. Yeah, just like go with it.
Just go with it. Let him like be peaceful and quiet, and like don't ask him any questions. Just like have him there and like let him do
sleepwalking.
His work, like his fake work. We're like wake walking,
sleepwalking, night walking,
night terrors. So she basically says like don't like the only rule is don't tell him that you're a daughter. Like he's your daughter. You're his daughter, and also don't tell him that he's dead because he's gonna like lose his mind.
You know, it comes down to these moments where I truly forget that she had a dad, like a normal human dad. And I wish they would have just explored that. Like, I wish that came through more in the show.
I mean, they really did though. You know, like they do explain the fact that, you know, he really wasn't the father. Like, so everything that kind of gets exposed
I just love his character.
This episode.
I know, yeah. I love his character. I wish he was there more. I wish she was there more, like the mom. But like, I know we're not gonna get that. But
no, I mean, we did get that moment. I think a couple of seasons ago during the Christmas episode where we do get to see the mom, and she does have a moment where she like has a moment with her mom, but she doesn't really have a moment with her dad. So I do agree with you that she doesn't really have that bond with her dad. But it is really interesting the way this whole episode ends. With her concluding her feelings toward her real father. So Serena does mention that he does seem a little off. She's like, does he seem a little weird to you? Like he's very like standoffish. He's not saying hi to me properly. Like I'm his daughter. Like what the hell? And Zelda basically says like, no, he's always been kind of like enraptured in his work, but also she's very like excited just to see her brother. Yeah. So like we don't even know for sure if she's just like giving him excuses or not. And then meanwhile, there's a scene with Lilith, and she's still in the room held up. She's all depressed because she killed her damn baby. And she starts to hear the cries of her baby Adam, kind of like echoing through her brain. And she's like, oh my God, is that you, Adam? Like, where are you? Like, she's like looking everywhere, but obviously she killed him, so he doesn't exist. And then so she starts to go crazy a little bit. Then there's another scene that we get. One of my favorite beginnings of one of my favorite arcs of this episode is Agatha is playing with these dolls on the floor, and then sure enough, Dorcas is back from
Dorcas
the
Porcus.
DAD. Dorcas Porcus is back.
Loved
How
it.
did you feel about this?
I loved it. I was truly excited to see who else was gonna come back. But I think this one, if they hadn't done this scene in the episode, we would have missed so much.
100%.
And this was, for me, the highlight of the entire episode. What happens 100%. In that room with the three sisters, and just seeing her come back, and obviously like she's confused. And it's just it was great.
Yeah, it was cool seeing her back on set, and cool seeing her like come back. It's one of those moments where RAS always says it because it happens so often in his stuff, and these questions always get popped up, and he's always like, you'll see what we have cooking up for this next season. And finally, this is the first time that it feels like they actually delivered properly on it, with her returning and actually having her final storyline. Because one of the biggest gripes that I had with her character is we don't even get to see her get killed on screen.
Yeah.
Like,
I remember,
and that's,
you were upset.
And that's that whole, and that's your whole thing about the fact that like, if they don't get killed on screen, like, are they actually dead?
Yeah.
So, at least we get to see her come back and she has her moment. So cutting back to Dr. Services, what's her name? Hilda comes in.
I knew before we even cut, like before they cut to him, I'm like, it's gonna be his mom. Like I knew
it's his mom.
Yeah, because they just got married. Like she's gonna have to meet her mother-in-law. Like it was a very like it just kind of all made sense as to like who it was gonna be her. But it was funny. Like his storyline was like the funniest one of the entire episode.
Yeah. So, because it's very like relatable.
Yeah.
Like you can be like, no, I get that. Like they always portray those like crazy in-laws versus like the actual wives. So it was really funny to see it. So, so she shows up. She warns him, but he's like, yeah, I know. This isn't it crazy? Like my mom just showed up an hour ago. So he brings her over and introduces Hilda to the mom. And this exchange just like killed me dead because like this bitch is like being so high-key rude.
Yeah.
She's just like, it's Mrs. So-and-so to you. Like she doesn't even let her call her mom. Like she's just shading her the entire time. I was like, wow, this woman is
She's like,
evil.
Remember your other ex-girlfriends, Emily and Hannah and like the other girl?
She like names them
like
all.
Like everyone. And Service is like, yo, like chill. Like
she talks about that a little bit later. But anyway, so in this particular like intro scene, she just like barely like acknowledges
her
Hilda's existence. Then it cuts to Baxter High, and they find out that the Stone Philosophers dropped out. But now Satanic Panic is now on the list of sign up people. And so while they're reading it, the Satanic Panic walk down the hallways. They bump into Harvey and Roz and Theo, and they're like, oh, so you guys must be the Fright Club, eh? What's your name? And Harvey's just like, my name's Harvey Kinkle. And Satanic Panic basically says, like, say hi to your dad for me. Yeah. And then they, like, walk away. So obviously he's like, oh, shit, I got to talk to my dad now. So then it cuts to Harvey's house, and he asks about Satanic Panic. He's like, so what's the deal? They said that they know you. So, like, tell me the whole story. So what happened was, way back when he was a high school student, which it was cute because they use like Harvey, like dressed as like in like the 1980s rocker, but it's like actually his dad.
Yeah.
He was originally a part of the band because he let them use the garage to practice. And one day while he's practicing, Lucifer comes by. So it's like the OG Lucifer, but he's like wearing 1980s clothes. It was kind of cute. And he's like, I'll make you guys amazing if you kill a virgin. And at that point in time, when he told the rest of the band, they were like, I'm totally down. Let's do it. Like he ended up saying like, no, this is like fucked up. Like I'm not killing anybody to be a part of this band. So he decides to leave. Then the next day, turned out the homecoming queen was found dead. And he ends up like feeling so much guilt about it that he's like, I don't know if they did it, but like he tells the dad that it could be Satanic Panic who killed her. And then the dad, in obvious like dad rage, decides to burn the entire band in a woodshed. He burned them alive. So that was like the darkest shit ever.
It was so dark, and like in a weird way it was like really interesting to get like this whole backstory on Harvey's dad. But like to look at Harvey and be like, damn, this kid had no idea that any of this like he could have even been like, oh yeah, dad, I remember that girl went missing during your high school time. Right. Like even something like that could have been more like realistic, but like he had no idea that any of this happened to his dad.
Right. But and to your point, it does kind of go back to the idea that, like, you know, if you don't remember in the earlier seasons, like his dad was like a heavy alcoholic. He was really abusive.
Yeah.
So like now you kind of understand where his damage comes from, because he obviously feels like so much guilt over these guys getting killed, because he didn't even know for sure, right? Like he was just like on a hunch that they were responsible for killing the daughter, but then also they all got killed. So I'm sure that he was carrying that like heaviness his entire life. So it's kind of just interesting that they kind of wrapped in his trauma like in this episode. So you're like, oh, that's why he was sad and depressed. Then it cuts to Dr. Services, and again, this is the scene that you were talking about where the mom is like fully shading Hilda, talking about all the ex-girlfriends that he had in the past. And she does say something very weird that Hilda is the only one who seems to notice. She's like, they were never good enough for my Kenny, so I had to kill them all. And I was like, you killed all of his ex-girlfriends?
Yeah, like what?
Is that for real, or is that like the Eldritch Terror talking? Like I wasn't really sure in certain moments, like if it was the person talking or if it was actually
like the truth.
Her speaking.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Hilda picks up on that and she's kind of weirded out about it. They dip. They're like, okay, good night. Then it cuts back to Mambo Marie and Lazarus, and they're playing. And, you know, Mambo Marie says, like, why do you even bring people back to life? And essentially he says, like, I sow the seeds of pain and suffering. Like, that's my duty. That's what I do. That's my life. And she rolls, and she's almost at the end of the board, but she doesn't roll a high enough number. And it's like just barely not enough to win the game. So now it's his roll, but it doesn't show that just yet. So then it cuts to the academy office, and Sabrina, who literally has been told twice already not to talk to anybody from the dead and tell them that they're dead, and also from like Zelda to explicitly not say anything about the fact that like that's his daughter. She does both of those things. So she ends up saying not only is that his daughter, but also that he's dead. And this is when he starts to spiral. He like loses his mind. He's like, what the fuck? He's like, who are you? I don't even have a daughter. The daughter that I did have, like, I didn't even want you. Mm-hmm. Your father was a goat. Like, he like goes in so hard. Like, he's just like, he's like, that was so disgusting. Like, your mom went and wanted a baby so badly that she made the deal with the devil, and like it's a barnyard.
So he
animal.
basically
It's
spilled
so
the tea. Like, he told the truth.
Yeah. He said everything, but like he basically
like
said it
real.
right to her face. It was so rude. Yeah. I was like, that's so mean. And then again, it's going back to what I was saying about Dr. Service's dad is like, is this him actually telling the truth and that's his actual like feeling, or is his spirit like now like unsettled? So now he's getting frustrated about it. What did you think about that scene? Did you think that he was like possessed?
No, yeah, and I definitely thought about what you're saying, because I was like what? How much of this is the truth? How much of this is like the terror kind of coming through in the darkness? By the end, I didn't know. I was like, I don't know what to think. I don't know. I didn't know what to think, because everything that he said, what Edward said, was all true and real, and like there was no fabrication to what he was saying. Yeah. So I don't know. Like maybe Service's mom fucking did kill people. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know.
So anyway, while he's like going off on Sabrina, he tries to attack her with a knife. And right in that's
when I was like, okay, like this is some dark shit. Like
this is the Eldritch Terror.
Yeah, because he would never do that, right?
Yeah. I mean, who knows? We'll see. I mean, we see it, and we don't really know for sure if that's how he felt. Like I don't know if he'd actually want to kill his daughter. Like,
no, I don't think so.
So Zelda stops him, and it was a really sad moment. She like tells her to run away. Then it cuts to Dorcas, and she's braiding Agatha's hair, and she starts to remember what kind of happened to her because Agatha's singing a song.
Yeah.
And she's like, did you stab me? Like, did you kill me?
Like, why are you singing this song? Like, what happened?
Yeah, why are you singing this song? Like, it sounds, I kind of remember, like, you killing me, like, stabbing me, like, multiple times. And Agatha, because she doesn't quite remember, or maybe she blocked it out of her mind, she was like, I don't really remember. Like, I thought we were just playing. But Dorcas is like, no, I think you, like, did it for real. So
I think this was the moment that it really broke me down. I was getting emotional already from this because I think in that moment I realized that Agatha went crazy because of all of this.
She realized that
and she couldn't deal with killing her sister. Like there was no other thing that made her go crazy other than what she had done to her own sister. And then,
I mean, there was something that did like she was under a spell.
Yeah, I know, but
she
like
did it, but yeah,
I knew that like deep
continued
down,
it.
Yeah, like deep down, that's what she was like thinking about,
hiding,
and ultimately that like she's gonna have to like forgive her or deal with her for this girl to come back to normal, for Agatha to come back like to being normal. Something that has to be some sort of transaction within this episode, and so I was excited for that already from that moment. To like, are we gonna get some sort of conclusion to this? And it was and it was so beautifully wrapped up, but. Right before, so while she's singing another song, she's singing like Three Blind Mice, Dorcas decides that she's going to go violent on her too. She goes to the side, she grabs a pair of scissors, and she's literally about to stab Agatha, but Prudence stops her, like right in the nick of time, and she's like, hey girl, you want to hang out? And Dorcas is like, yeah, let's play. So Prudence gets to stay with her. They do their like little best friend kiss on their fingers. And I was just like so happy to see all three of them together again. And
it
I
was
think
such
just
a sweet
like
moment.
The three actresses, they're just so talented and they have such an amazing chemistry with each other.
For sure.
That I just want to keep watching them, to be honest. Like I didn't want it to cut away from their scene. So
I know.
I'm curious to see like if our listeners had the same vibe watching them, because I was definitely like enamored by that whole like situation this episode.
Yeah. It just goes to show like how good of a dynamic trio they were together. Anyway, so then it cuts to Cerbis's house again. Hilda sees the mom, but she's kind of like she's just like frozen on the couch. And then she goes up to her and there's like flies on her face that she's not really like swatting away. And then as soon as she like calls out to her, the mom like grabs Hilda and she's like, I'm not your mother, like you're a witch. Like she starts to get really aggressive, and then Hilda kind of has to like go off and be like, well, at least I'm not dead. And she's like, whoopsies. And then that's when the mom goes like crazy. She grabs a knife. Like all of these ghosts just like have knives in their pockets.
Yeah, I was wondering, I'm
like,
where are they getting these knives from? Yeah.
So she grabs this knife and she's trying to stab Hilda. This is when Cerbis comes down right at the same moment. He was like, Mom, Hilda, Mom, Hilda. Like he was like freaking out because he didn't know what the fuck to do. And then he decides to like keep her in the closet. So like he puts her in the closet and like that's all they can do at this point in time. Then it cuts to Zelda at the academy with Sabrina, and Sabrina's just like sad because her dad like basically rejected her. Like even her ghost dad rejected her. And she's like she basically says like, yeah, my dad says I never wanted you, I don't even like you. And Zelda's like, no, like she's trying to console her and be like, no, that's not how he felt, that's not how he feels. But Sabrina basically says like, no, it is true what he's saying. Like he isn't really my father, and he never really got to know me as like a 16-year-old kid. Like he only knew me as a 2-month-old child. So like he never got any time with me. So I get his perspective too. So it was kind of sad to see her kind of come to terms with the feelings that he had for her, but at the same time realizing that, you know, it's just an unfortunate situation, right? Like the dad is just not who he's supposed to be, and it's not who he expected it to be. And it sucks because I think that's one of those things. It happens, I feel, with like adopted kids, and you know, you have this like idea of like what your parent is supposed to be, and then when you finally meet them, it's not exactly how it turned out. And that seems to be like the closest thing that we can relate Sabrina's life to, which is, you know, she finally gets to meet her dad, or her quote unquote dad, and like he totally rejects her, which I think is a great way to tell that story, because it can't always just be like, oh, everybody's in love and happy and like, thank you for being here. Like, you know, he like, it doesn't, for her dad to reject her, it makes sense. For her mom to reject her doesn't make sense, which we didn't get that. We got that like she embraced her daughter. She wanted her so badly that she fucked the fucking devil to have her. So, you know that the mom wanted her, but like with the dad, you never really understood like his conflict over it. And now we kind of see it play out finally. And it was I thought it was a really sad moment.
Yeah.
So then it cuts to the academy. Again with Lilith, and this is when she calls forth Caliban to help her because she feels like she's being haunted by the baby. So he's like, I'll help you kill yourself, because like she's like, I will kill myself, but I can't kill myself because I'm immortal now, or I can't be killed. But if you get this one spear that's in hell, for me, it's the one that killed, the one that stabbed Jesus, then I will be able to die. So he's like, don't worry, I'll go find it for you and I'll give it to you so you can kill yourself. And she's like, thanks so much. So then it cuts to Baxter High, and it turns out that they find the dead bodies that were discovered in the back of the school of the Stonies, and the Battle of the Bands are now canceled because
they were just murdered. Yeah.
Like, they were literally just murdered.
School should be like shut down realistically.
I know. I was like, like between Greendale and Riverdale, like they never shut the school down for a minute. I don't understand. But then this is when, so they're like, okay, sweet, we don't have to like battle anybody. But then satanic panic like appear in flames, and they're like, you know, we have Harvey's dad. If you don't do this battle with us, like he's gonna die. We're gonna play at the gates of hell, and you have to win him back, basically. So now Harvey's like, oh fuck. So they rush over to Harvey's place, and of course the dad's not there, and there's just the guitar. And this is when they're like, oh shit, we need more manpower, we need more help.
Yeah.
And Theo decides that
I thought they were gonna look to Sabrina to like say like, Sabrina, we need your help.
We need you to sing.
And then she's standing right there, and they're like, should we call Robin? And I was like, Sabrina's right there.
Why don't you ask her? And she's like, no. Literally, they asked the person that's like left for like 2 episodes already. So anyway, Theo's like, yeah, I guess maybe I should call Robin back. And Sabrina's like, yeah, I can call him back. I have like a special power to call him back. So in the meantime, she's like, okay, let me go ask my dad.
She says what you were talking about last episode, or whenever Robin left, because she was like,
right,
did Shakespeare write Midsummer Night's Dream?
Yeah.
And I was like, there's your little Shakespeare.
That's the call out. Yeah. I was like, finally 2 episodes later. But yeah, that's the connection, I guess. And then she decides that she's like, while we call up Robin, I'm also going to go ask my dad in hell and ask him some questions about satanic panic, because obviously he has something to do with this. Yeah. So then she goes to hell, and he does say, like the dad says, like he was their manager, but obviously he had to like send them to hell after they died because they didn't really like fulfill their contract or whatever. And they also killed the girl to get the power. So he does also mention that people keep coming back from the dead to go to the mortal world, but then she's like, well, okay, then call them back. And he says, no, I just want to keep them up there. They sound like they're fun. And then she realizes like he has no control over the people that are coming out of hell.
That was interesting too.
Yeah, because I was like, it clearly shows that like she can still call him out on his like
on his bullshit, and he's trying to flex. Like, you're the devil. Like, why are you trying to flex right now? Like, just be honest. But he like tries to show off this like bravado, and like, she's like, I called you out.
She's like, no. So then she's like, can you at least release Harvey's dad? And he's like, why would I do that? And she's like, well, you know, I'm your daughter. And he's like, you're not my daughter, you fake daughter. And I was like, oh my God, this is too soon. She's getting like denied by both of her fathers in one episode. Like, that hurt. That like really hurt her. So I felt really bad for her in that moment. And he basically says that Satanic Panic's mission is to win this battle so then they can burn all of Greendale just the way that they were burned alive when they died. So the stakes are very high. Yeah. So then it cuts back to Caliban. He comes back with a knife for Lilith. And then Lilith goes to the statue of Hecate in the middle of the hallway. And before she's about to stab herself, because she's like, Hecate, give me the strength to, you know, kill myself, basically. And right before she does that, Zelda sees her and she's like, what's going on with you? And then Lilith says she needs to kill herself because she needs to atone for something that she's done really badly. She's been haunted. And Zelda's like, yeah, everybody's being haunted. Like, people are literally coming back from the dead. So it's not just you that is being haunted. So then she realizes that it's like not just her going crazy, like because of guilt. It's like literally the baby is in the room because everybody's come back from the dead. So then Zelda goes on to tell her that Mamba Marie right now is playing a game with Lazarus to win the whole thing. And that's when Lilith kind of like perks up and she's like, oh, like, the guy is there, like Lazarus is here, so she knew about him. She knows who he is. So I guess she goes.
She's like, oh, that guy? Oh my God, he's here.
She's like, oh my God, I need to get his autograph. Like, I gotta go over. So then it cuts to Sabrina, and she decides to plot a plan with Prudence and Nick. And they're like, well, maybe we can set up our own like band or whatever. And she says that Peggy Lou Simcox, who was the homecoming
girl that
queen who got murdered,
will
likely wants to get revenge as well. So we should probably maybe try to call her forth while this whole thing is happening. So then it cuts to the gates of hell. Everybody's getting ready. You know, Robin's back. Everybody's back. The show starts off hosted by Lucifer. He's our Ryan Seacrest of the episode. And he calls up Satanic Panic, and then they play their song. Meanwhile, Prudence, Nick, and Sabrina are trying to bring Peggy Lou back, which was kind of confusing to me because I'm like, isn't she back? Like, what did she not be back anyway?
Exactly.
But anyway, they call her forth. And then it cuts to the Fright Club, and they decide to play the song, famous song, Time Warp. Let's do the Time Warp from the Rocky Horror Picture Show. And that was kind of cute.
It was
I know
cute.
You're not a big fan of musicals.
I actually really liked the two songs that they perform. There was something cool about it, and I was like, I'm down for this. Like, I was okay to have that moment.
Yeah, it was fun, and they did a really good job with it. Actually, I was kind of surprised because Robin like put the voice on really, really well. It's like almost spot on.
Robin's voice was amazing. Like, the way he did it, I was like, this guy needs to stay in the show because like he's really talented.
Yeah, he did a great job. I mean, he's probably going to be on the show until the end of the series.
Yeah, like 2 more episodes.
2 more episodes. So as soon as that one's over, the crowd is clapping, and Lucifer is like, "That was good," but obviously Satanic Panic is about to. And before he's able to finish the sentence and call Satanic Panic as the winners, Sabrina's like, "This shit is not over yet." And then she comes out looking like a Bratz doll.
Yeah.
I was just very, very confused as how I was supposed to feel about her, because like now she's wearing like dark makeup. She's wearing like an open shirt and like a midriff. She's like showing a little bit of stomach, and she's like, "We're the Dark Mothers, and we're gonna play a song for you." And I just can't.
Also, why is this Dark Mothers? There's Nick in the band too. Like, did you forget about him?
he's like, I'm a mother too, because like I'm a feminist and I love my girlfriend. Like he wants so badly to like play the good guy card now. So I don't know.
I liked it too. I liked the performance too. It was cute. And
you liked the performance?
I did. I didn't mind it. I was so
like, they sing "Sweet Child of Mine."
Yeah.
I just can't get behind her being like this edgy character.
I know what
like,
you mean. But
she
I was
just
like,
doesn't have that. But
I was like, for the 45 seconds that we're gonna live through this, I'm okay with it.
Like, let's deal with
it.
It's the series finale. Like, let's just let her have it. You know. So anyway, she sings a song, and meanwhile, while that's happening, Lazarus and Marie are playing the game, and Lilith comes in and she asks if
she's
he
like,
can help her.
Hey, homie, how you doing?
Like, hey,
it's been a long time.
Yeah, she's like, I know that you're really busy or whatever, but I killed my baby, so could you bring him back to life? Lazarus essentially says like, yo, I'm so sorry that happened, but if you don't have the baby like body, then I can't do anything about it. And because she done like chopped up that baby body for dinner, like he can't do anything. So she's like, okay, thank you, goodbye. So she leaves like sad. And then he rolls the final dice, but before he moves to the last spot, like, cause he wins, like based on like rolled.
He had to get like a 3 and under, and he got a 3, and he's like, well,
or 3 and above. Yeah, he's like, I guess I win. So he is about to like move to the last place, and like Lilith like pops out of nowhere, and she like fucking stabs him to death.
Yeah.
So he dies right away.
And she explains how she kills him, because I was questioning it too. I was like, you can't kill this guy if he's an Eldritch Terror. And even Mambo Marie was like, what? Like, what's going on? Like, how did you kill him?
Yeah. So yeah, Marie's like, thank you so much, but like, how did you do that? And she was like, well, what happened was this particular sword is the thing that killed like Jesus, and because Lazarus is one of his last miracles, like you can also kill him too. Like, oh, okay, so, cool. That's good to know. Thank you for the connection. Yeah, I mean,
what did you think about Mambo Marie not winning?
I was so annoyed. Yeah, I was like, she literally had one fucking thing to do.
Yeah.
One thing to do. And I was like, she's like, thank you so much, because I was about to lose that game for real.
Literally.
Like, I was about to literally lose.
I was pretty let down by that. I was like, Marie, you had one effing job to win this damn game, and like you couldn't even win.
But it's like, it's annoying because like she chose a game of chance. Like, it's not even a game of skill. Like, she could have played chess.
No, but like, chess would have been cooler. I think it's probably a mix of chess and chance, maybe.
Oh, maybe. I don't know, because it was all I saw was the dice.
Because the pieces look like it was chess, because when he was raising his like player, it was going over her, so like it kind of looks like checkmate. But
yeah, I don't know. I was like, dice is involved. That is just like
the point is like, girl, you're effing witch. Like, cheat your way to win this game right now. Like, what are you doing?
Something.
Like, do something.
Why don't you find the spear? Why did Lilith have to come out of nowhere and fucking stab this motherfucker?
Anyways, it was a cool moment regardless, but I was just kind of let down with Marie to be like, girl, you could have like saved the day, and like you didn't.
Exactly. So when that happens, Marie's like, thank you so much. And she does say, you know, you didn't get the boon. She calls it a boon, which I had to look it up. It means something helpful and beneficial.
So at this point, Marie knows that she killed Adam.
Technically, yeah.
But does she talk about it or no?
So all she says is, you're not gonna get the boon that you wanted, but you're gonna get something.
Oh, okay.
So she's like, you will get a boon, like with her like really thick like New Orleans accent.
Yeah, Haitian.
Haitian.
Yeah.
No, is it Haitian?
I think it's Haitian, because her
Cajun.
Her like background comes from Haiti.
From a Haitian spirit. Yeah. So anyway, so then it cuts back to the gates of hell. And while Sabrina's still singing this damn song, and Peggy Lou comes in to the like dance floor, and she starts like dancing, but she's like all bloody. She's wearing her prom dress and stuff. Yeah, I liked it. It was pretty it was cool to see it.
For someone who like we didn't know, who like we didn't even get to see. This whole episode, they talk about her, and you're kind of like rooting for her, like sort of revenge or like to come back, and it kind of happens, and I'm like, oh, she's like a low-key character, but like I was kind of like living for that moment.
You know, it's funny because I turned to my partner and I said while we were watching it, I was like, you know, it would be cool if they made this like Betty Cooper. Like not Betty Cooper as the character, but like Lily Reinhart played her for like that one moment. And just for fun, because they already threw the Stonies in there. I'm like, might as well just make it like a full Riverdale kind of like backstory connected with Glendale.
I guess.
Even if she didn't have a line, like it would have been cool to just like see her. I just miss Lily Reinhart.
Clearly, I'm like, damn, you must really miss her.
And she kind of looked like her, so I was like, oh,
I guess she did. Yeah.
So anyway, while she's dancing, the Satanic Panic is on the side. She sees them, and like right at the very like high bridge part of the song, she like lights them all on fire. Like she like blasts fire at them. The whole crowd is like losing their mind. They're like, oh my god,
this is lit.
This is literally lit. And I thought that she was killing them, but she doesn't kill them. She just like burns them.
Oh, well, they
She
die.
just like lights them on fire. No, they were like still alive, but like because their bodies were like still standing.
Oh.
But they now look like demons. Like they like it's almost like their human forms like burned off, and then it's just like the demon bloody form. So anyway, she doesn't kill them, and then she disappears because she like got her like low-key revenge. But then I'm like, oh, I guess like it helped them win because like it was like the pyros of the performance. Like she created the pyros of the performance. And then that's when everybody like loses their minds. And when Lucifer cuts back on stage, like Sabrina's basically like, we fucking won that shit. Like she like loses her mind. She's so excited. And the whole crowd is going crazy. So they win. Satanic Panic like lose, and they get sent back away. And Harvey's dad, who has been sitting in a cage the entire time, is now freed. And he like has a quick little moment with Harvey where he's like, you were so good. Good job, son. I'm so proud of you.
Yeah.
Then it cuts to the academy, and Zelda sees Marie like down the hallway, and she's like, hey girl, we did it.
Yes,
missed
we won.
You, boo. And she's about to like kiss her and like embrace her, and Marie's like, no, I cannot do this with you right now.
And I was like, what? What's happening? I'm like, why?
And I'm like, this is the twist. This is the mystery. This is exactly what we've been feeling from her character this entire time. This like, are you evil? Are you good? And the real is she's like, I need to take the dead away. And when Zelda, like when she's like, well, why do you gotta like go with them? Marie's like, I am not what I actually appear. And it turns out she is someone actually named Baron Samedi. I'm totally bastardizing it because it's in a different language, I'm sure. But I looked it up, and it is a powerful Haitian spirit.
Yeah.
And it's in connection to, but it's not the same person, because I had to actually look up if they were the same person. From AHS Coven, any of our AHS fans, there was a character called Papa Legba, who was also a Haitian spirit, but they're part of the same like it's called kind of category.
Yeah, it's called like Iowa Voodoo.
Yeah.
So I think they're probably just that same branch of like
Loa, I think it is. Yeah.
Oh, Loa. So this is what my question is to you. It's like, I didn't understand this at all. Like I was just like, wait, why were you pretending
to be something else?
Yeah. Why were you pretending to be a woman?
Yeah. I didn't even really think about that until you literally just asked me just now, because I didn't even think of it as a consequence in terms of the way the story went. But you're totally right. Like, why did she have to pretend to be a witch in order to be a part of the crew?
Like, fine. Okay, you tried to be a woman so that you could come into the coven. Fine. But my also question is like, was this your mission all along? Like to take the dead away? And like, if so, wouldn't you have known that the Eldritch Terrors are coming? And like, wouldn't you have known about all of this then?
Yeah, totally. You're absolutely right. Now that you're like talking it through. Yeah. Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense as to why he had to disguise himself.
Because like he could have just
doesn't make sense.
He could have easily just been like, hey, Zelda, by the way, like this Eldritch thing is gonna come, and like the dead are gonna come, and I have to be here to like fight this guy, and I have to win. And she would have been like, okay, cool, like here's your job. So I didn't understand why everything was a lie, and like I didn't get any of that.
The only defense that I can give him is maybe he didn't even know himself. Like he was like, because there are moments where Mambo Marie doesn't really understand. Like she says things like, this must be the reason why I've been attracted to this place. Like this is why I'm kind of like in this area. So maybe she's just been feeling it all this time.
Yeah, but then how did she know who she was at the end, right? Like at the
end,
it's
weird.
She's like, by the way, I'm this person, and Zelda's like, what?
She's like, what the fuck? So obviously Zelda's extremely cheesed because basically she lied to her the entire time. And Marie says, I'm gonna go, but if you take this box and you shake it, like, I'm always
here with you, whatever.
I'm here. Call me maybe. She kind of just like gives her a number.
Like it was cute. It was a cute moment.
Text me at any time.
But I was still kind of like, A, I'm cheese for Zelda because she's like, my girlfriend just dipped. But B, also like, because none of it really made sense, and it was kind of a little too like perfect. Like, oh, we're almost done the show, so we better get Mambo Marie out of here. Like it didn't make sense.
And that's the thing. Like the series was almost going to end at this point in time. Couldn't you just keep her there? Like they didn't even have to do the thing where like she had to go back into the underground. She could have just let them all like leave.
Exactly. Because they came somehow. How come they can't go back?
They came by themselves. Yeah. It just, I don't know. I wouldn't have questioned it if they just dipped and Marie just stuck
because you
around.
guys killed the evil guy. So like they just went back to normal. Like that's okay. Yeah. It was weird.
But then I was also thinking like the reason, like, because we'll talk about it obviously in a few minutes, but when Agatha comes back too, that means that there's technically another three weird, like the three weird sisters are like now back together in the sense that it's Prudence, Agatha, and now Roz instead of.
But like, are you telling me that's the only reason why she left? Like, come on.
I don't know. I know it doesn't make any. It really doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Like realistically, it doesn't make any sense. And I wonder if there was going to be a bigger picture story for her as to why she decided to come back and whatever. Anyway, speaking of which, the best freaking scene of the entire damn episode is what we're I'd
probably say the best so far in the season, to be honest, because
season 100%.
Season 100%, because I haven't felt these emotions this whole season, and this is what a show is supposed to make you do. Like when your main character's about to die, or like go with her twin, and like possibly like you're supposed to feel these emotions, and like I never did. This moment brought all of that out. I was like, this is what this is what you should be feeling when you're watching a show. Like
100%. So let's go through the scene really quickly. So it's Dorcas and Agatha and Prudence, and they're all playing on the floor, and Marie comes in to take Dorcas away. And Dorcas is sad. She's confused, and she's like, I don't want to leave. Like, I don't like being dead. Like, I don't want to be dead anymore. And it's this very... It's the acting plus the lines plus like the simplicity of just the two of them kind of talking to each other that really got me.
And that knowing that all they really had was each other their entire lives. It was just the three of these girls. So she doesn't want to leave the two other girls that she's always had as family and like her sisters.
And it's just, as soon as she said like, I don't want to be dead, I was like, oh, my stomach hurts. Like, it was just so sad to hear a ghost, I guess, say something like that. And Prudence kind of, she sucks it up and she's like, it's going to be okay. Like, you don't actually die. Yeah. I'll see you again in the next life. Like, we'll be okay. And she calms Dorcas down enough that Dorcas is like, okay, I trust you. And she decides to leave. And
Agatha's like still confused. Like Agatha doesn't know what's happening.
She's still crazy. She's in her straitjacket. She's not even sure what's even happening. And then this is when Dorcas like looks at Agatha while she's playing with her dolls, and she whispers something in her ear, and then she gets up and then she leaves. And
I started crying right there. Like I started crying when she whispered, because and I didn't say it out loud, but in my like soul, I could hear her saying like, I forgive you. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God. And you could just see like Agatha like kind of like waking up a little bit.
She's coming to,
And it was
it was just, all of it was such an emotional moment. Like Dorcas is walking out of the door, and as she's leaving, Prudence is like holding herself strong the entire time, like she's trying to be strong for her sister as she's like crossing over. And then as soon as she leaves, Prudence has this like full breakdown moment. She's like crying silently to herself because she feels like she can't even be consoled because Agatha is still crazy.
She's still crazy, yeah.
But then as soon as she starts to cry, Agatha hears her and she's like, Prudence, like, what's going on? And then Prudence realizes, like, I'm getting shivers even talking about it right now.
Yeah.
Like Prudence realizes that she's awake and Agatha's like, what just happened? Like, I didn't understand what was happening. Was Dorcas just here? And Prudence is just like happy to have her back. And she basically says, like, don't worry, I'll tell you all about it. And
she was like, because Agatha was like, she asked me she said like she forgives me. And I think that's when Prudence is like, oh my God, she's like back to she's back to normal.
Right. Yeah. And then that's when Prudence is like, I'll tell you all about it. Let me just get you out of that straitjacket. And while she's taking her out of the straitjacket,
so
Agatha's just like, she's like, but what did I do? Forgive me for what? Like, what did I do wrong? And then they just hold each other. And I was fully crying.
Yeah.
I look over at my like partner and he's fucking crying. I was like, I don't know what the fuck it was.
I don't know.
It was the acting. And like, it's so funny because I didn't say anything to NB and literally she messages me and she was like, I'm starting to cry, or like, this show just made me cry. And I was like, I know exactly what you're talking about. Like, it fully made me cry and I was so shocked.
Very powerful. And I was like,
such a powerful moment.
First of all, I was like, why? Like, why? Not like why it made me cry, but like, why can't we have more of this? And why haven't we felt this watching this show up until now?
Yeah. I was like, you guys have the ability to do it. This is a scene from a character that has been gone for the last whole half of a season. And somehow you guys are able to make us feel this like deep sadness. And maybe it has to do with like, people who have lost people. I don't know what it is, but it was such a strong moment to watch on screen, and like the sisterhood between the two of them, and being able to like see them being consoled with each other and mourn the loss of their sister. Like, it was just all of it happening at the same time. Fucking just like got me so hard.
And the idea that like you can right your wrongs, in the sense that like sometimes people wait a lifetime to hear I'm sorry, or like I forgive you. People wait lifetimes and they sometimes never hear, and they die without knowing that. But like the fact that she was able to come back and like forgive her sister for doing that to her, like, I'm gonna get emotional, but it was.
It's such a powerful thing to experience, because it's exactly that, right? Like you don't get that opportunity and to see it happen and unfold. It was just it was beautiful. It was beautiful to watch. So honestly, kudos to you guys. I take back everything that I've said about how terrible this show's been so far because of this scene alone.
But that's like, the thing. I can't.
All is forgiven.
I can't give the onus on anyone else.
I forgive you too.
Like this was because Prudence, Agatha, and Dorcas. Like, that was the writing of that scene. It was the acting of that scene. It is because of those things. So
yeah, it's true. So cutting back to Harvey's place, they bring Harvey's dad back and they erase his memories. He's passed out on the couch, and then Robin is about to leave, but then Theo is like, I know it's bad of me and selfish of me to ask you, but I really want you to stay. And Robin says, that's all I've ever wanted you to ask me. And he decides to stay. Yeah. So Robin's back after one episode. Yeah. So good for him. Then it cuts to Lilith, and she looks at the dagger because she's like, I did whatever I could. It didn't work out. And she's about to throw the dagger back into the fire, I guess, to return it. I don't know what she was about to do. But then as she's about to do it, she hears Adam from the doll that Adam, the real human Adam, brought back to her. Do you remember this? So
kind of,
couple seasons ago, when the real Adam came back from his trip to see Wardwell, who was actually Lilith, he brought back this like artifact, and I forget what he called it. I'm sure they're going to talk about it later, but it was this artifact that's supposed to protect her.
Right.
And it's sitting on the mantelpiece, and she could hear her baby because the baby's like, mama, mama. I'm like, this baby was a newborn. How does it know how to say mama? But okay, fine. So now the assumption, or I guess I should ask the question, does this mean that she's, because when she starts hearing it, she calls for him, and then the chain that's around the doll like falls off, and then there's this whooshing sound that almost seems like she like gets possessed by it. So I'm wondering if either A, like the body like possesses her, like goes in, like Adam's spirit goes into her body, so like he's always gonna be with her. Or does this mean like she now has like some special protection against Lucifer? Like I wasn't really sure which one it was.
Yeah, I don't know. And like I think I was still like recovering from like the Dorcas scene, so like I wasn't really paying attention. I was just like, okay, whatever. Like you done killed your son. I don't care about you right now. Like you don't deserve this.
Like, this is not important. Yeah. I am looking forward to seeing what happens with her, because I think she does still need to have that revenge moment against Lucifer, and hopefully she can get some retribution for her son that she killed. And then it ends off with everybody standing in front of the Spellman house. Marie is calling everybody back to the graves, and then Zelda kind of gives a final wave, and when she gives a final wave, Marie turns into the true form of Baron Samedi, and then he's like, and then he just like disappears, and right before he disappears, he like, brings wink, back call her dog, boo. Like, call me boo. Here's your doggy back, and so she gets her dog. She gets to keep her dog.
Oh, like
anyway.
for real?
And
like the dog is actually back.
Yeah. Oh. So I think that was like her gift.
She's like,
to Zelda,
sorry, I catfished you. Here's your dog back.
Here's your dog back. Exactly. That's exactly what happened. And then that's the end of the episode. There's a really quick moment where, Zelda says, you didn't get to say goodbye to your father, to Sabrina. And Sabrina basically says, like, that wasn't really my dad. Yeah, like, he wasn't really the person that I wanted him to be anyway. So it is what it is. And I think there was some power in just that moment as well, just to say, like, I did see my dad. He wasn't exactly what I wanted, and that's the fact of the matter. Yeah. Like, I can't do anything about it. So that's the episode, guys. We are only 2 episodes away from the finale. But let's get into our recap roundups.
Recap roundups.
Best moment. My best moment, and it's gonna be yours as well, and it's obviously the Dorcas, Porcus, Agatha, Prudence scene at the end. So many emotions. I don't want to get into it because we just like covered it off, but
we just covered it.
That was definitely the best moment, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's my best moment of the entire season. We still have 2 more episodes, so let's see what happens. But this one was beautiful. Yeah,
absolutely beautiful. It's definitely like top, if not the best of the season, the best of the series so far. Like, to make me cry is very difficult, and to make me cry when I didn't even expect to cry is even harder. Like, I wasn't preparing myself for a sad moment, and I just started crying. So clearly you guys did something amazing there.
Yeah,
well done.
WTF moment.
WTF moment, like I talked about in the beginning of the podcast, was Loki realizing that Wardwell actually killed Adam, like baby Adam. I did not realize this is what happened last episode.
Whoops.
I'm like, oh, he's for real dead. And J-Lag was like, yeah, he's for real dead. So that was my what the fuck moment in my actual life. But then also like just seeing like Harvey's dad's background story, and like this girl had died, and like he was kind of like the rat, and I was like, how did you never know this about your dad? Like, that's so
you never
shocking.
Said anything.
Yeah. But yeah.
So true. My WTF moment is gonna go to Mambo Marie being Baron Samedi, because did not see that coming whatsoever. Totally got skirted. Like, didn't even realize like why they put it in there, and even talking to you about it now, I'm just like even more confused as to why they did that. So
it was one thing to like not trust Mambo Marie, because I was like, maybe she's shady, but it's another thing that like she literally catfished all of us, and now I'm like, I don't know how to feel anymore. I'm like, she wasn't even Mambo Marie. Like, so, like, what is happening?
It's like, what do I even call you anymore?
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Yeah. MVP. Honestly, I'm gonna give it to Peggy Lou because this chick was like nowhere to be found the entire episode. They brought her back covered in blood, dress on point, hair on point. She got her revenge that she deserved. She had like a smile on her face and she was gone. And I was like, that's how you do a cameo. That's how you do it.
That's how you skirt in, swirl in. You like,
I loved it.
Shit and you leave.
Yeah.
My MVP has to go to Prudence because number one, the actress is just so good at what she does, and also, you know, her character is so strong, and you know what she was trying to do in that entire scene, trying to stay strong for Dorcas so she can cross over, trying to stay strong for Agatha so she doesn't feel like she's guilty over doing everything wrong. Like, this character was just
love her character.
Like
I love it.
Beautiful, so amazing for staying strong for her sisters. Like, I love it.
I just wish there was more of her, to be honest. Like, I can't wait for her to like come back to Ambrose and like I watch her and I'm like, I want to know more about this as a character. Why can't we get more of her?
Give me a spinoff. I'm down for it. I really would love to see her lead a show because I think she's just so phenomenal.
Yeah, she could.
Yeah.
LVP, I'm gonna give it to Mambo Marie because, you know,
because she done lied to everybody.
She done lied to us. She freaking
see above.
She catfished everyone, and ultimately, like, fine, that's fine, but like, it didn't even make sense in the end. Like, I don't understand what her like end game was. If she knew that this was her plan all along, she could have easily just told them, "Hey guys, this is what's gonna come. Be ready. I'm gonna play a chess and like game of chess and like whatever." She didn't say any of that, and then in the end, she's just like, "Okay, I gotta go by." It was just very weird.
She made shit, and she just made shit even more difficult and more like unnecessarily.
And now Zelda's like confused sexually because she's like, "Wait, was I with a man or was I with a woman? Like, what's the deal?"
She's like, "Am I lesbian? Am I straight? I don't even know anymore. I don't know how to feel. I'm just gonna hang out with my dog." She's like, "Dog, are you still a boy? Can I check?" She's so confused.
And like, how insulting. Like, you literally catfish this woman and like you give her dead dog back to her. Like, bitch, that's not enough. Like, what kind of fucking gift is that?
I mean, it's better than nothing. She was about to fucking just walk out on her. She's like, peace.
Yeah.
My LVP, it's going to be two people, but it's kind of in the same vein. It's going to be Sabrina's dads. So her real dad and Lucifer this episode. Super disappointed in both of them for being such assholes to her. I know the situation was complicated. However, she did not deserve that treatment. It was not fair. So
it would have been nice if like Edward was at least nice to her. Like, you know?
Yeah, I know.
The devil's the devil. He could have
at least been like relatively nice. Yeah. He was just a douche, and then he tried to kill her.
The best line. Best line, I'm gonna give it to Cerberus when they're like basically like keeping his mom like locked in like the room because she tried to kill Hilda, and he's like, "Yeah, now I'd really like her to be dead again." And I was like, I remember like bursting out in laughter because like she's fucking crazy. Like, it's better that she's not here. You know, it was cute. It was just funny.
Funny. My best line is going to that scene that we've just been talking about, when Prudence says to Dorcas to make her feel better, she says, "There's no such thing as dead, sister. We'll be reunited again soon, I promise."
Yeah,
and I was just like,
so good.
Like, so much fun. That is the episode. So while you guys are wiping your tears remembering that moment, I would like to take this time to thank our patrons of the episode. Thank you to our Rewinder squad, White and Nicole, our Lit Rewinders, Tina Ann, Soleil, Kate, and our Mommy Rewinders, Becca, Sarah, Tamala, and Grace. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys. And if you would like to join our Patreon family, check us out at patreon.com/recap_rewind. If you join, you get access to all things Recap Rewind, exclusive contests, content, and updates.
And also make sure you guys are checking us out on all of our socials, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. You can also find us on Google Podcasts, Spotify, and iTunes. Like, subscribe, follow, review, and comment to stay engaged with us at Recap Rewind. Thank you so much for listening.
Bye.
Bye.